Hello, I'm Neil Quigley and welcome to my podcast. As Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un step up their rivalry, I'm just glad that the North Korean leader is not on Twitter. Can you imagine their conversations? Although I would imagine they would find they have more in common than they realised. President Trump threatened North Korea this week by warning that he'd respond like the world has never seen, which sounds like something you might say when you're a little bit drunk and a bouncer will not let you in a club. Well, that's the last time I heard it, about 20 years ago, when a man who was refused entry claimed he would be coming back with a force like you've never seen. He never returned. Is anyone else hoping that Fire and Fury are just a terrible American comedy double act that Donald Trump is going to send to do some gigs in North Korea? Hello, I'm Greg Fire, and I'm Chuck Fury. And in this week's round of Who is Crazier, Kim Jong-un or Donald Trump, it's a dead heat, just like it is every week. An unexploded World War II bomb was discovered at the Fukushima nuclear site, meaning that Japan almost beat North Korea to the punch in setting off a huge nuclear explosion. I do like the way now that if someone loses an election or the vote doesn't go as they expect, they always now blame or claim a fault with the system or outside interference. This is why we vote in the UK with pens and paper, so we don't end up with Jedward running the country or a Prime Minister called PM McPM-face. Vince Cable has said the old generation have messed things up for the youngsters with the Brexit vote. With talk like that, he'll be doing a duet with Stormzy soon. I mean, he might have a point. The generation that made hundreds of thousands of pounds on their houses and actually have pensions have possibly made themselves the last generation to do so. Although, in their defence, they will need all that money for care homes. Former Prime Minister David Cameron was pictured last weekend at a festival in Oxfordshire. He even looks too serious when he's out enjoying himself. He looks as awkward in this arena as Theresa May does at every official engagement that she attends. The Governor of the Bank of England has warned that uncertainty over Brexit is already weighing on the economy. What do you mean? Not knowing anything about how trade, travel and jobs will be affected by any changes is affecting our spending plans? That's why he gets paid the big bucks. Concerns this week as Dutch eggs are contaminated. I would imagine that technically applies to most items you can buy in their cafes. England suffered heavy rainfall this week in a spell of weather that expert meteorologists are describing as our normal summer. A cash point was stolen in Nottingham using a mechanical vehicle, ironically and literally leaving a hole in the wall. Tesco are doubling the price of their plastic carry bags from 5p to 10p to make up for the money they are losing, as most people now already have a bag for life. Several athletes have picked up a nasty bug at a London hotel during the World Athletics, although it was a sporting illness as they had the runs. Usain Bolt loses his last 100 metres race, so he has to officially hand back his Lightning nickname and replace it with Rusty. Is animal oil being in banknotes where we get the phrase fat cats from, for people with loads of money? As gambling becomes more popular in the United Kingdom, we will now get to play Russian roulette when selecting our eggs, all thanks to European contamination. I am calling this Brexit. A German satirist stenciled offensive tweets he had seen online outside Twitter headquarters, instantly making him their less subtle answer to our Banksy. Stacey Solomon has received a lot of praise for her holiday video talking about her body. Just makes a nice change to see a holiday video from a celebrity that has not been illegally leaked and filmed without their knowledge. New Great British Bake Off host Noel Fielding says he is careful about eating sugar. So am I, especially with jam donuts, as that sugar can go everywhere. Jeremy Clarkson is being treated in hospital for pneumonia after developing it on holiday. It's obviously not just cold food that affects him badly. Apparently emojis help scientists to teach computers to understand sarcasm, which is even more impressive when you consider that at least half of human internet users can't spot it themselves. A male tech nerd from Google has been fired for basically having no social skills and no idea about the opposite sex after sending a shockingly un-PC email. I mean, when you put it like that, on reflection, it's hardly surprising. I was disappointed to learn this week that Paddy Power is not the actual name of the person who runs the bookmakers. Always thought it was a very dynamic name, even if it does sound a bit like the catchphrase of Scooby-Doo's nephew sidekick. A former Olympian is trying to raise £500,000 to buy the horse he rode in the Rio Olympics by selling equine semen from a horse he currently owns. Mind you, as this appears to have a going rate of £1,000 a shot, that horse has got a very busy and pleasurable few years ahead. A rare plant used as the base ingredient of tequila has grown 30 feet in a matter of weeks in a front garden in Devon. Personally, I find that when I've had some tequila, it makes me less productive. So all this fidget spinner fad has achieved is basically arming all 5 to 10 year olds with nunchucks or turning them into low-rent Wolverines. worse attention spans than me. That's it for this week. Thanks very much for listening. Have a fantastic 7 days with lots of fun, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye.